You can see here I've got my new CHINS lithium ferrous oxide battery hooked up to a device that puts a load on the battery and gives me a chance to see what kind of load this battery can handle. You can see it's 12.8 volt, 100 amp hours, and right now, I don't know if we can read this, I'm at 27 amp hours. So in about 5 to 6 hours I will know how close this battery is to meeting its spec. So I'm going to do a video YouTube on this particular device. This is the upgraded device that you've seen a number of people using. That was called the pink version. This is the purple version. So I will try out some of the different features on it and put it on the YouTube, and that'll be later. Meantime, these batteries are going into my Winnebago Class C Outlook, and I've got the old batteries out. They were shot, so rather than spend money on new lead acid batteries, I decided to give this a try, and that included swapping out the converter that was in that power box. It's a WFCO system, and they had an upgrade to a device that would sense lithium batteries. So I will do a bit of video on that. There's a bunch of them out there, so I will try not to be redundant there, but as part of the project to upgrade the Winnebago, I will do something there. Now, these batteries have Bluetooth, so I'm able to get in and see what the charge is, and as I was charging them up. So I charged them full. There's battery 1, and here's battery 2 down here. I'm using my Genius G15000, which does do lithium, and this lead acid battery here I use for my trolling motor, but it made a great test device for the tester that pulls current from a battery and gives you an idea of what its rating is. And I wanted to do it on something that if it blew up, it would be a cheap failure rather than blowing up my $400 CHINS battery. So I got it working where I wanted it, and then I just hooked it up to the CHINS battery, and we're just waiting it out. So I'm figuring sometime late afternoon this is going to go into the Winnebago. I'll start the install process while this guy is then getting put on the tester. And again, the way the sensor works on the new WFCO interface converter is it needs to have the battery at 0 or close to it, so that it can test how it takes a charge and then how it discharges, and that's how it senses that it's got lithium. So I'll talk more about that when I actually install it and put it all together. So more to come. So in this video I'm going to kind of show off what they call the purple battery tester decharger, and this was the newer version of the one that folks like Will Prost showed off, which is considered the pink version. So I don't know a whole lot about this, but I was able to make it run for my test of the CHINS battery. They turned out to test out just fine. So I'm just using an old lead acid battery here to do the testing. So you can see that at the moment I don't have the device plugged in. So the first thing to do is to go ahead and connect to the plus and minus connectors, and then turn the device on and set the readings. Now, first of all, notice that was just a little confusing to me, you know, what this green device was all about. It came in the came on the device, and you know, how does that work? What plugs into it? And I tried a couple different things that looked like it worked, but as it turns out, it's just the end devices that normally fit under a screw. It's a horseshoe that two of them fit into here, and you can see it's labeled V plus and V minus and A plus and A minus and so forth. So they're just shunted together, and the plus on one side and the minus on the other, and it's as simple as that. So you get it on the battery, and then you connect power, and you get this welcome screen, and it turns on the fan for 3 seconds and goes through everything. Now, I've set this thing up with the A version, the A value. It gives a nice clean screen like this. You should try both versions and see what you like better. But this one, the critical one, you see is you can see here the voltage of the battery, and here is the amperage for your test, and right now you're not testing. So first thing I did was I set the amperage. So note you can hear me click the top of this rheostat, this dial, so that goes to the next thing. So I click onto the amperage. Now I thought, well, I'll set it on 15 because that'll get things going pretty quick. And then notice it stops blinking, so everything's ready to go. And I thought, okay, now I'll try the test. And nothing happens. And it's because the maximum you can run here is 150 watts, and 15 amps is too much for that. So again, I click this guy and I bring it down, 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 and I found out that 11 amps works. Now maybe a little bit more than that. You can see 11.01 is what I got going here. I can take this down to 0 as well. Okay, now we'll just let it finish blinking. Now it's basically ready to go, and I press the play button, and it turns on. And now you can see it's starting to test the battery by decharging it, running a load against it. Excuse me. And right now it's in milliamps, but if you're just patient, it will get to amp hours. And when I was doing the Chins battery, I found that I was getting 10 amp hours every 2 hours, I think, something like that. Anyway, the whole thing took about 8 or 9 hours on my 100 amp hour battery. And it's just a matter of being patient at this point. Now you can see here is the beeper, and once it hits the end, that thing just starts to beep, 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 and then you know it's stopped, because once it gets above 100, it's very slow to tick up and down, because you see it really is doing milliamps at this point. Okay, so now the fan came on. You can see here I'm at 97 degrees, so it gets pretty warm, and of course using heat to decharge the battery generates more heat, and I'm right near the thermometer. So the other night when I was doing this on the chins battery, I was watching the thermometer go up, and I think it went up to 114, something like that. So here it is counting up milliamp hours, and eventually it'll get to 1 amp hour, 2 amp hours, and so forth as it clicks up. Now I see there's a fuse here, simple fuse like in a car. That's a 50 amp fuse. I'm not sure what they've got fused there, but obviously they're protecting their device. I saw one of the comments for these devices, the pink and the purple. It was another one doing the purple device with lithium ferrous oxide batteries, and he had each of these probes fused. Not quite sure what that's about, but he didn't have a battery management system on his cells, so of course the chins has a very good one, so I didn't need to do that. But it was interesting that he also ran separate leads for the volt and the amp, and that gave him some more specific information. So read up what's in the user manual. It's something you have to download, and it's very strange the way they've worded things and the pictures and so forth, but just step your way through it. But seriously, if you just do what I'm doing here, you'll get what you need in order to test out your lithium batteries and the battery management system. And I got, on my chins, which are rated at 100, I got one at 104 when it ended, and the other one at 103. So I felt pretty good that I got 2 good chins batteries. So I hope this is helpful, and I'll attach this one to the other video which shows me using it on the chins battery, and make use of it. It's certainly worthwhile to test your battery and make sure you're getting what you expected. So here you can see the chins batteries in the battery compartment of my Winnebago. It was a really tight fit. I had to open up the battery box about 1/8 of an inch or so to get these things to slide in, but they went in okay. And see all the original cabling connected up as well, so that was nice. This is the shunt for the current meter that I put in here. Works quite well, but for some reason I was positive, and I didn't take a picture, that it went on the positive side positively, but no, it goes on the negative side. So once I figured that out, everything worked fine. And here's the meter. You can see showing 13.33 volts right now. So now I was a little concerned about how complex it might be to upgrade the Winnebago to lithium, but it turns out that the WFCO control system, and in particular the model 8955 has an upgrade to the converter. Now the converter is in the lower part of the system here, so you have to take this front panel off, and there's some very good YouTube showing you how to do that and how to install the new upgrade. And the new upgrade is a smart upgrade, and it'll sense that you have lithium batteries. And I can't say for sure that it's sensing that now, because it needs time to figure out, based on the charging and discharging, that it now is looking at lithium batteries rather than the old lead acid batteries. But I thought I'd give you a look at the final product here after everything was tested and I installed everything in the Winnebago. So here are the Chins batteries in the battery compartment. Tight fit, but I got them in there. And as I showed before, this is the model WF8955 PEC. So it's the power converter with distribution panels. So what you're basically doing is you're swapping out the power converter, and you're putting in an MD, an AD MBA, which is the sensor version of that power converter. So not that expensive. It's about 200 bucks. So in my mind, definitely worth it. I mean, I was worried about all the different things I might have to change, and that was it. That and the batteries themselves, done. So it worked out great.